Thursday victory against LAFC?
Yeah, you have to be happy with that, right? 4-0. I mean, that's a huge result. It's another big step in the right direction for our club, for the franchise. It's been spotty. We all know that. It's been some really good results and some results that we feel like we could have done better in. The Open Cup game this week, or earlier this week, was fantastic, and we just piggybacked it. So consistency becomes the name of the game for us now. But to have a big performance in you like that when they roll out most of their heavy hitters, despite their schedule, I think is a really positive sign of things to come here.
Questions going back? Enrique from Viva Houston. Oh, I'm sorry. Why? Congratulations for the win first, and then why this team can play like this on the road and home is a different team?
I think on the road, if you look at the Vancouver game, that's the one that sticks in my mind. But St. Louis, in some facets of the game as well, I think we're in those games, and they're not always. The scoreline wasn't indicative of how those games flow. In my opinion, we could have been up 4-2 at halftime in Vancouver with better finishing. In St. Louis, you know, the reason I'm here tonight, not Ben, is, you know, there were difficult decisions that didn't go our way. And that wasn't the whole story, but that game was a lot closer than the scoreline as well. I think, you know, at some point we need to turn the corner on the road. We need to just find a way to get results, and we might have to do it in a different way. We've been a little too open on the road, a little too willing to go forward on the road, and we might have to be a little more conservative to just grind stuff out.
Hey, Brendan. You guys had the lead 1-0 at halftime, and then obviously kind of poured it on in the second half. What did you kind of see at halftime, the adjustments that you guys made that kind of helped, you know, put the game away?
Yep. We talked about defending in wide areas. We talked about getting Nelson reconnected to Daniel to help him. Daniel did a fantastic job coming into a game as a sub, as an outside back against a team like that is a tall order. So, you know, I commend him for stepping in the way he did. And Nelson did his defensive work, and he's, quite frankly, on fire right now. That kid terrorized Chicago, and he terrorized those guys tonight. So he's growing up before our eyes. That's great to see. We also talked about trying to sustain possession a little bit more, which I don't think came out in the second half, you know, but because we were able to find the second goal, the game got really stretched, and we can be good in transition, you know, because we do have a good defensive block, and Ben's built a great structure, you know, for these guys to absorb pressure and hit out after we absorb it. So those were some of the things we talked about at halftime. The last one was just outworking them. You know, it sounds cliche, but we knew they were tired. We knew they had played Sunday and Wednesday, and we had played Saturday and Tuesday. It's a very slight advantage, but the weather here has to be something that we lean into, and tonight was the first time that it felt like a furnace out there, even just standing on the sideline.
And you, six wins in 8 games here at home. The crowd, obviously, tonight, very loud, vocal. What does it mean to you guys, you know, just having this home field advantage, like you said, now that it's getting hotter? What does this mean, you know, for the team?
This is a place no one wants to come. I mean, and especially after they'll see a score line like that. And a lot of the statistical categories that I have in front of me are somewhat even. But if you're even with, you know, the heavy hitter of the league, quite frankly, then that's a great sign. We're right where we need to be, kind of in our evolution to get back to being a playoff team every year and get back to, you know, winning trophies, hopefully, if we can push in the Open Cup as well.
Hey, Coach. You guys scored 8 goals in the past 2 games, not just MLS, but on the road, U.S. Open Cup. What does that mean for you guys at this point of the season?
We have pieces in our group that haven't played together much and are just starting to play together, and we're still figuring out the puzzle, quite frankly, as a staff. So finding the right combinations of players, the right balance within the team tactically, when we're on the ball, what shape we take and how we attack other teams, that stuff's evolving. But that's understandable, I think, with a brand new staff, everyone, and 15, 16 new players, something like that. So I think it's normal. I know it's fans want urgency. They want, and they deserve that. But it does, from a technical standpoint, it takes time to develop that chemistry. And I think you're starting to see big flashes of it coming together.
Your thoughts on Nelson? Scored second consecutive goal for you guys, coming off the fourth goal with the Chicago win. Scores the first one today. Your thoughts on his performance?
And draws the pen, too. I mean, when he decides to play downhill, he's terrifying for a defender. And he was again tonight. It's great. He's learning his own tools on the job as well. He's a young kid. And he's starting to understand that he can be really dangerous at a high level on a consistent basis. But it takes hard work. He has to track back. He has to be part of our defensive block to allow himself those isolations going the other way. Whether it's in our build or in transition, he has to do the defensive piece first. And I think he's really taken that to heart, and he's starting to do that on a regular basis.
Final for me. Your thoughts on the second game of a back-to-back matches with this team in 5 days?
Yeah.
Just the positives that you guys can take away from this situation.
Well, now we're kind of in the driver's seat going back to their place. They have five international absences. We'll have Franco out, obviously, on yellow cards, and we'll have, Coco away with Panama. But I think the balance is in our favor going back in there to try to grab a point. We need, like I said, to find points on the road. So we'll attack that game the same way we did tonight.
Yeah. Coco got the assist on that first goal for Nelson. He had an assist obviously earlier in the week too. What can you tell us about his development higher up in attack?
Coco, that is. Yeah,
Yes.
Coco's an extremely talented individual attacking player, and we can use him in a number of different spots. He played out wide in those games, but he can also play the 10. He can play as a forward. So he just gives us a weapon that allows other weapons on the field, if that makes sense. So we love Coco. We know he's one of our very best players, and he works tirelessly on top of it. You saw him tonight hit the post and then track back 80 yards when we're already up multiple goals. That's just who he is. He's a great guy and a hard worker, and he's extremely talented on top of it. He's start putting together a few more final plays like the ones you referenced, and he's not long for this league.
Is there any update on the two substitutions that look to be injuries? Gaspar was one of them, and then Quinones.
I don't have updates on either yet. Hopefully neither are long term, but I would expect that will probably impact at least Chase on Wednesday.